When my father passed away, I was going through immense pain and I was into this dark spiral. And my mind was in a very dissolution space. So, experiencing all the portals, out of body experiences, experiencing dimensions. That is when I realized that there is a very, very big world outside of the world of matter that we perceive and see and feel, right? And for me, that became a gift because I realized that if I can use the power of my internal soul to heal myself out of this, I could create light of this situation to heal so many other people because a lot of us are going through this and we don't have a meaning to it. We don't know what is going on. And actually, that moment became the biggest gift in my life because I am here today, what I'm doing, playing with energy and playing with darkness and learning to transmute it and alchemize lead into gold, ego into soul, right? Thinking into feeling from those dark moments of my life.
Wow. Okay. So can you talk about those experiences? Like you talked about out of body experiences, visiting other dimensions. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So, because this is such an infinite topic, it is our mind, okay? It is the human mind that keeps us structured in this 3D world and matrix. Now, when I look at it from a standpoint of alchemy, okay, there are only three elements that's called the trinity of life: sulfur, salt, and mercury that create the solidity or that create us. So, when we are in the dissolution mental space, so when we are in a very, very solid space of the world of 3D world, that means our mind is very structured and in a matrix. But when you're going for a dissolution or a disoriented space, you become more mercury or you become more energy and less matter, right? And our spirit or our soul is just nothing but pure conscious energy. And then you're like this air balloon with a thread, but without the weight. So you can travel through time, space, and dimension anywhere, but then the weight is in this body and you come back. So lots of experiences, I could say. I've been to the darkest dimensions, right? I've been to the lightest dimensions. It's like a time travel thing. So today, if you put me into any dark space or any dark energy, there is no fear because when you understand it, when you marry all of this from the standpoint of quantum physics, it's only dark energy, it's only dark matter. Like one of my gurus always told me, because when I was traveling through these timelines and dimensions, I could see a lot of demonic energies and those kind of energies. And I always wanted to learn how to overcome all of this. And something very profound, my guru told me that the outside quantum field is only a reflection. The day all the demons inside you are over, there'll be no demons outside. And that is when I realized for me to heal anything on the outside, I will have to go into the dark shadows of my own demonic nature. And the journey started. And today, when I even time travel, there is no way I can go into a dense dimension or a dark dimension because the inner world is cleared. But that clearing, that cleaning was a journey. I don't know if this is really making sense, but for somebody who understands what I'm talking about, they'll really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because I have gone through it myself and I have experienced going to lower astrals and yes, I do understand that we have to work on our shadows. At the same time, we do live in collective consciousness. While the light workers and people like us who are doing the work are rising, at the same time, there are shadow entities and demonic entities also rising to kind of counter the light work.
It's very important to understand everything in the universe runs on frequencies.
Oh.
The only moment they can interact into your energy field is if you are a frequency match to them. But if you're vibrating at a higher frequency, then it's totally a mismatch. Then there's no way they can, counter your frequency.
That is true. What is happening, and this is the experience that I have talked to so many people, and this has been the experience, is that even though as light workers, we do have very high frequency, but all of us usually kind of uh, oscillate between the frequencies because we are anchoring those higher vibrations here in the 3D. So at times we oscillate between the vibrations and the frequencies, and especially during the dreaming state, we are not as aware as we are in the conscious state unless you reach the turiya, like the state of consciousness where you are aware between all states of consciousness. So especially in
One.
that
You're
dreaming state,
absolutely one in the conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and superconscious. It's one state.
yeah, but there are still different states of consciousness. As per Vedanta, there are 7 states. So I was talking about like sleeping, waking, dreaming, turiya, turiya, chitta, divine cosmic unity consciousness. So people who have not yet mastered to be aware and to stand in their power during the dream state, then how do they, and I mean, if they encounter these manipulative dark entities and energies, how do you handle that?
See, I can tell you this. I can answer this for you because I'm talking about the timeline when I was in a very unaware state. And like you said, the light workers have an agenda to, transmute darkness into light. So the first time I encountered darkness was when I was barely 22, 23 years old, right? And that I don't even want to talk about the experience, but it was a really dark experience of my life. I only knew one thing. So in that moment when I was in an attack of a darker frequency, see, one thing I know is no matter how much the darkness is, there will always be one iota of light awaken in you. So the only instant thing that happened to me was I started chanting Om. And I still remember, and I get goosebumps when I talk about this. I'm feeling that this dark energy is really absorbing me and pulling away. I'm feeling it. I'm seeing that. I'm sensing it. And here there is a part of me because we are multidimensional. So there's one small part of me that's chanting Om. And every time I chanted Om, my energy came back and came back and came back. And in less than 15 minutes, I had the energy of Om had out created the darkness. And that day I learned one thing in life, which was a life lesson, that the power of the divine forces within us is much more stronger than any dark force. And I'm telling you, at that time I was only 23. I had no spiritual knowledge. I had no learning of quantum physics. I was not an awakened soul. I was just a young mother. But this innate sense of awareness, every soul has it. Is this making sense? So I've always believed in this truth, no matter how dark we are or what darkness we get consumed in. There is always going to be that one iota of light. If you use it, you can focus on it. Energy flows where focus goes. So I did not focus on the darkness. I kept focusing on Om, chanting Om, Om. In 15 minutes, I was in power.
Yeah,
So
so beautiful. Yes, I have experienced this.